Once there was a young man named Urashimataro. He was a fisherman and a sailor. And one day, when he was in his sailboat, Urashimataro was out at sea when he was caught in a very violent storm. The storm drove his boat off course, and he drifted for several days, lost at sea. After a number of days, he began to run out of food. But being a fisherman, this was no trouble for him. He simply cast his line into the water, and he did a little bit of fishing. But after 2 whole hours of fishing, all he had to show for his time was one very small turtle. Still, he was very hungry, and so he laid the turtle out on his mat, he got out his knife, and he was preparing to cut the turtle open, when suddenly he was overwhelmed by a deep feeling of compassion for the turtle, and rather than kill the turtle, he carried it over to the edge of his boat and dropped it back into the water. No sooner had he done that than a beautiful sea princess appeared before him. She said, "Urashimataro, I was that turtle whose life you spared. Because you were so kind, because you saved my life, I would like to take you beneath the sea to the undersea kingdom, where you might meet my father, the king of the sea." And so Urashimataro hopped on the turtle's back. They rode deep beneath the waves, and when they reached the ocean floor, Urashimataro could see a large undersea cavern. He and the turtle swam inside the cavern, and there they could see other fishes and seahorses and crabs and squid, and they were all singing and dancing and having a wonderful time. The princess took Urashimataro to meet her father, the king of the sea. The king was a giant fish, and in Nanking, Tamasudare, he is shown like this. The king said to Urashimataro, "Because you were so kind, because you spared my daughter's life, you are welcome to stay with us beneath the sea for as long as you like, and you may even take her hand in marriage." So Urashimataro stayed beneath the waves for 3 whole days, and during that time he dined on delicious food, he drank delicious wine, he sang, he danced. He was the happiest he had ever been in his entire life. But after 3 days, he began to grow homesick. He was concerned that he had been away for many days now, and he was worried that his parents might think that he was dead. So he told the princess that he wanted to return home one last time. The princess said she understood, but before he was to go, she needed to give him this very odd-looking box. The princess said that there was something very precious inside that box, but under no circumstances was Urashimataro to ever open the box. When he was ready to return to the undersea kingdom, he need only take the box, throw it back into the water, and she would come to fetch him. Urashimataro said he understood. He promised he would not open the box. And having made his promise, he fell into a deep, deep sleep. When he awoke, he found himself outside the gates to his very small village. It was morning. The sun was just beginning to rise. And in Nanking, Tamasudare, we show the rising sun like this. Urashimataro began his walk into the village. But things looked strange to Urashimataro. The streets no longer looked familiar. And he didn't recognize anyone he knew. And when he reached his own home, he was surprised to see that someone had hung a sign out front indicating his home was now a noodle shop. Perplexed, Urashimataro went in to speak with the owner. But the owner insisted that he had been living there and working there for the last 20 years. And no one in the restaurant had ever heard the name Urashimataro. In fact, no one in the entire village remembered the name Urashimataro, except for one very, very old man. An old man who said, yes, his parents once spoke of Urashimataro. His parents once mentioned that Urashimataro had been a sailor who had gone off to sea, but whose ship had been lost and whose body had never been found. And that's when Urashimataro realized that even though it felt like he had been away for 3 days, he had actually been under the sea for over 100 years. And he began to grow worried because he didn't have any money. He no longer had a boat, which means that he no longer had a way to make a living. He no longer had a home, and he no longer had any friends or any family. But he remembered the box. The princess had said there was something precious inside that box. Maybe it was gold, silver, money of some sort, precious gems. And so Urashimataro decided to open the box. But when he did, he found no gold, no silver, just 2 pieces of paper, a letter from the princess. And the letter said, Urashimataro, because you opened the box, you can no longer return to the undersea kingdom. Not because you were disobedient, but because you live your life from a place of fear. Because you worry about things like money and how you will make a living. And people who worry about those things can never be truly happy. If you are ever to find your way back to the undersea kingdom, it will be because you remember the compassion you felt on that first day we met, when even though you were starving, you chose to save my life. And so Urashimataro went for a walk. He went down by the river, and he sat down beneath a willow tree. In Nanking, Tamasudare, we show the willow tree like this. And Urashimataro stayed beneath the willow tree for 3 whole years without moving. He stayed there and he contemplated how he might someday return to the undersea kingdom. And he did eventually find his way back. But that's another story for another time. For now, the bamboo mat is known as Nanking Tamasudare. And you've been listening to the story of Urashimataro.